Bosses can be defined as a category of enemies that receive damage according to certain special rules. They are larger and tougher than standard enemies, and typically possess a more complicated anatomy. The following enemies count as bosses: Brute, Banshee, Geth Prime, Atlas, Scion, and Praetorian. The Brute has 3 armor plates, 1 on the stomach and 2 on the shoulders. These plates prevent bullet damage from reaching the Brute unless they are pierced or destroyed, and they can only be destroyed by bullets. They are health targets worth 5% of the Brute's armor. In general, the plates on all enemies that have them are health-type targets, with all the implications regarding weapon damage. Besides the plates, the arms of this enemy have a damage reduction of 25%. The claw blocks bullets and can't be destroyed by any means. The Brute is capable of sync killing while its eyes are glowing red. The Banshee is infamous for its sync kills, although that's not the end of the bad news. This enemy has 2 states, the base state and the aggressive state. The aggressive state can be recognized by a glow emanating from the body, can be triggered after a certain cooldown is over, and stops after a dozen teleports, or after receiving a certain amount of damage, called breaching damage. This breaching damage depends on the difficulty level, and if the Banshee doesn't receive any damage for a certain period of time, then the counter starts from 0. The amount of damage that needs to be done is halved for soloing players. Importantly, the damage that counts towards this threshold is not the actual damage of the attacks, but the damage these attacks would do to organic health. One notable exception is known. It is the actual damage of disruptor ammo that counts. This matter has not been thoroughly investigated. In the base state, the Banshee is not capable of sync killing, but it has the ability to deploy a damage-blocking bubble, which blocks incoming damage from powers, ammo, and melee. This bubble is deployed when a projectile power is cast on the Banshee while it's in its base state, unless it's during a more important animation. The Geth Prime is fairly uncomplicated. For every active prime on the map, the collective can spawn 1 combat drone and 2 Geth turrets. The Atlas is the first enemy on this list to have both plates and an outer protection, in this case that is shields. The plates cannot be damaged until the shields are destroyed. The Atlas has 5 plates, 1 on the crotch, 2 on the legs, and 2 on the shoulders. Destroying them takes 5% of the actual enemy's armor, and causes a damage spike of 10% of its armor. The Atlas is ready for a sync kill after launching a melee attack by hitting the ground with its arm. The headshot area is the exhaust port in the back. When shooting the canopy with piercing, double hits can be scored. And when using piercing ammo, triple or even quadruple hits happen. In all seriousness, the level of noise that bullets make while hitting multiple internals of the Atlas is a good indication of how many hits are being scored. The Atlas is resistant to combo damage, receiving 24% less damage from combo detonations than the other enemies. The Scion happens to sync kill after its melee attack. The important thing to know about this enemy is that the sack on its back can be popped, causing a damage spike of 20% the Scion's actual armor. The damage needed to destroy the sack is 15% of the Scion's unpossessed armor, or equivalently 10% of its possessed armor. The Praetorian is arguably the most complex enemy in the field, similarly to how the Banshee can deploy a protective bubble in its base state and sync kill in its aggressive state. The Praetorian can deploy the bubble while it's airborne and sync kill while it's on the ground. This enemy has 3 plates, 2 mustache ones, identical to the ones on the Brute, and the face plate, which is extremely significant because it obscures this enemy's headshot area, which is a collection of husks behind that plate. This plate costs 15% of the Praetorian's armor, causes a massive stagger when destroyed, and the ability to pierce this plate and score headshots is fairly limited. The exact result depends on the ammo type used, and whether the enemy still has barriers. The takeaway is that all serious kinds of ammo, other than incendiary, allow to score better hits. While typical enemies have their headshot modifiers decided by the weapon used, typically 2.5, the headshot modifiers of bosses are set to 1.4 regardless of the weapon, and cannot be improved by any headshot damage buffs existing in the game. The Praetorian is unique, having a headshot modifier of 2.0, but headshot buffs still don't work. The Cobra missile launcher delivers billions of points of damage to standard enemies, but only tens to hundreds of thousands to bosses. A bit more attention needs to be exercised when nuking bosses. They can't be too close to the limit of the blast radius, and it is worth it to enable weapon-boosting powers, such as Tactical Cloak or Adrenaline Rush, and if possible, wait out the couple seconds of damage reduction that enemies receive upon spawning. Except for freak accidents, bosses cannot sync kill a player that is on a slope.